Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, the dope ass dude. Got some technical difficulties here. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, the dope ass dude, and I am so excited to be here tonight and so excited to have each of you logged in and so excited for our guest. We're having a couple of little technical difficulties here, but we are going to move forward. But happy to see everybody here on tonight. As you guys know, first, if you don't mind going ahead and subscribing to the YouTube channel. While you're there, click on that notification button. Click on the notification button, and then also while you are there, go ahead and click on like now so we can get those likes so that these videos, this podcast can get pushed out to other people. And then also, if you are listening on TikTok or if you're following, go follow me on TikTok or IG. My handle is the dope ass dude, so follow me out there. And then also, if you are listening on the go, you can always listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. So I am really, really excited about being here tonight. And let me just make sure you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Give me a yeah in the comments. Let's see here. Can you guys hear me? Put it in the comments if you can. I guess you guys can hear me. Okay. I don't see it moving there. So we're going to go ahead and bring Marchello on out. I'm really excited to have this guy here. He is definitely an inspiration on Instagram. If you are not following him, make sure you go out and follow him as well on IG, as well as TikTok. And his handle out on IG and TikTok is I am Shell SX. So you guys can go out and follow him on there. And we're gonna bring him on out. What's going on, man?
Peace, King. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. How are you feeling?
I feel great.
Yeah, dude. I am so excited to have you on here tonight.
I appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started here.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, man. I am a seeker of knowledge. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a son. I'm a brother. I have a decade and a half law enforcement experience. I am a life coach. I help people, establish mental clarity, emotional intelligence, effective communication, and just live an overall better life, problem solving, all of that good stuff. So just trying to make the world a better place.
Wow. So how did you transition into that? How did you get started with, being an empowerment and a life coach? How did you get into that?
Well, I mean, unbeknown to me, it started 13 years ago, right? I had something happen in my life that kind of woke me up to the fact that my life wasn't going the way that I thought it should be going.
Yeah.
So I just started reading like a bunch of books. I'm talking New Age, I'm talking Buddhism, I'm talking Christianity, just trying to get an understanding, really to answer the question, like, okay, who am I? Right. And then just through doing, my podcast and talking to people online, going on live on Instagram, interacting with people day in, day out from a law enforcement perspective and all that good stuff, I was like, you know what, maybe I should be a life coach. Right. So that's how I got into it. I just took a leap of faith and it's working out good for me. So I think I found my calling.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, man, it's funny. I was just out on Instagram and I looked up on you. I was just scrolling and I guess, I listen to a lot of motivational things and maybe, I guess the algorithms, once you start liking some, they start sending you more. And I just came across, your page, you came up like on my feed. And of course, I went out and I watched, one of your videos and that led to 10 and, on so forth, and then I saw, and that's when I reached out to you. I was like, say, dude, I love what you're doing and got to have you on the podcast because, I'm always, I like to tell people all the time, I'm never impressed with people, but I like to be around people that inspire me, inspire me to be better. And when I saw your stuff and your content, I was like, dude, I got to be connected with this guy because you own it, man. So how do you continue though? Because like you constantly putting out content. So what inspires you to continue to do it?
Honestly, man, like the fact that we're not gonna live forever, right? I'm driven by the fact that someday I won't be able to do the things that I do now. So I have to capitalize on that, right? And that's not even necessarily money. It's, I believe in a God, and I think I exist for a purpose. So, you know, as long as that thing is willing to give me information and insight and understanding, what is say, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, then I feel like it's my responsibility to share with other people. So, my reels, I always go for a walk. I walk 5 miles almost every day. And I don't have it planned out as to what reels I'm gonna do today. Right. I just start walking and I just open up and the insight comes in and I make a reel about it. So, I don't think that insight comes from me. I think it comes from something deeper, something eternal. And if that thing is eternal, then all I got to do is keep doing what it tells me to do. And I don't have to worry about the supply running out.
Yeah. Now, do you ever feel the pressure to like exceed what you've always done, or do you just like just let it just happen naturally?
Hey, look, I'm only focused. So I know, say, my end game as far as I can see it, right? Other than that, I'm only focused on the very next step. I don't care what step 3 is. If I'm on step 1, I'm only really concerned with step 2, right? Now I can automate certain things, right? And know that they're going to work in the future. I don't have to worry about those. But just in terms of my focus, I go one step at a time. That way I'm not overlooking an important step. So I'm not really concerned if this reel doesn't do good or that reel did better than this one, or this one got 50,000 views and this one got 1,000. I look at it like, whoever needs to hear this, it's my responsibility to put it out there. And whoever hears it, it was for them.
Wow, wow, wow. And that's really good because honestly, I think a lot sometimes many of us we do feel that pressure to exceed what we've done before because that's what we're looking for. I mean, especially when this is your full-time thing that you're doing, you want to ensure that I guess people are constantly engaged. So it's like awesome to hear that you are like just staying true to you, listening to the inner voice because that means that there's purity in it opposed to you just feeding people what they want to be fed. That's good, man.
Oh, no doubt. I'm not just gonna tell you what you want to hear. I'm gonna tell you, what I think is best. And I make content, maybe one reel isn't for you, maybe another one is. Maybe one on elevation is for you and the one on jealousy isn't, right? But it's my job to receive it, to open up to it, receive it, and put it out there. And like I said, for those who needed that one's yours. That's why a lot of times people comment, they be like, I needed this today. I'm like, it's all yours.
Mhm.
So I just keep pushing.
Yeah. Hey, real quick. I like how you
Hey,
started.
real quick, intelligence requires hard work.
Oh God, man. I was like, at first, funny, like you hear stuff over and over again and you're really not paying attention. And then like I said, I watched many of your videos and I was like, every video starts out with, hey, real quick. Yeah, it's like
And
catchy, man.
so the reason I do that is because I want you to know that I'm not about to take 3 minutes of your time. All my reels, at most, they're a minute and 2 seconds. Most of them are 45 seconds to a minute. Hey, watch this right quick. Get some inspiration to make your day brighter. I ain't taking up all your time. And then you can take that and keep it moving.
Now, do you have like many takes before you release the product, or are you just a one shot guy?
For the most part, it's one shot, right? Um, Sometimes I may have something that's a little more complex. And because it's not scripted, I'll get 80% of the way through and then mess it up. And I'll be like, shoot, man, I had it. It was so good. But I would say probably 90 to 95% is one take. And I don't even bother like assessing it. Like, oh, did I shake the camera too? Nah, if the words were right, then this joint is going up. But I record so many, I probably got close to 80, 85 that I haven't even put out there yet.
Oh, wow.
So they just, I have so many. Like if I was to stop doing it today, I could still give you close to 3 months worth of reels.
Wow. So you film multiple at one time, or do you just do one a day and then that's it?
Nah, so like say I'm walking 5 miles, I almost have it down to a science, right? On an average day, I'll make somewhere between 4 and 6 reels. And I have my preferred spots where I kind of feel like as I'm walking, I'm like, I get closer to the trees or I get closer to the water. And I kind of feel like, oh, I'm opening up. I can hear the birds better.
Yeah.
My eyesight, like the greenness of the trees are greener than when I left my house. And I can tell I'm opening up. So I'm quiet, keep walking, and it comes through. But I have done 10 or 11, 12 in a 5 mile walk.
Wow. That's really, really good, man. And it shows that this is truly your calling because it just flows through you. So, because it's yeah, I mean, just daily trying to come up with content that can be challenging at times. So for you to be able to push it out like that, that's pretty extraordinary. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy it. I think that I've always known that I came here to inspire people.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just took me some time to figure out what's the proper avenue for me to do so. Because I got 2 albums on YouTube that hip hop, and I was attempting to inspire people through my music. I think with social media, the short form video coming into play, that you got to catch their attention in 15, 20 seconds. Like, well, that's right in my alley because I could write a whole song in an hour and a half. So I could definitely give you a piece of knowledge in 30 seconds. But it's still the same. The ideology is still the same. It's to give people something to be inspired to, something to inspire to be, just to improve their lives. It's always take your power back. It's always about you.
Wow. Now, do you think what you're doing now, do you think this is the evolution of you from being a hip hop artist? Do you think you've evolved in that? Because at the end of the day, writing music, you're still giving from yourself. And now you're just using a different platform, different stage to perform it on, and a different method. Do you think this is like an evolution of you?
Yes, it's an evolution, but I don't think that hip hop is the start. I think hip hop was just a very important piece of it to kind of hone me and craft me into it. But I mean, I'm a mama's boy, right? So I was a little boy who would draw my mom a picture and say, I love you, and give it to her, right? Because I would want her to feel better, right? So I think I came into this place with a desire to make people feel good about themselves, or to teach people how to feel good about themselves and improve their lives. Throughout school, I wrote poetry, right? And then you get into the hip hop thing, and then it transitions out of hip hop into, I guess you would call it reels.
Yeah. Wow. And how do you keep up with that? Because like Instagram, when we first started out, it was just pictures. Now it's on reels, and now reels have evolved into, with the captions on it, and it's constantly evolving. How do you keep up with that, like, and stay ahead of the trends of that on that type of stuff?
So I'm gonna give you a sneak peek into one of the reels I made today, right? I talk about success. Success is overwhelmingly the process of elimination, right? I don't follow trends. I'm not doing TikTok dances because I can't, right? I'm gonna do what feels right to me and be genuine, be open, be honest, be transparent. And whoever it's for, that's who it's for. Now, of course, I'm gonna look at another influencer or someone who's really good and be like, oh, they put captions in this. Okay, let me figure out how to put the captions in there. Or, they put the title across the top of the screen. That's a smart idea. I'm going to do that. So I do that to keep up with the times, but I'm not changing the substance of my content to fit what's hot. I'm looking for a particular a particular type of person who's looking for a particular type of insight. And whether or not Instagram changes the algorithm, it's not going to matter, because good content is good content is good content.
I like that. I like that because again, I think people do feel that pressure to constantly change with the trends, and then they find themselves in a place where they don't even know themselves because they've changed so much and lost the essence of why they started what they're doing. That's amazing that you're doing it like that.
10 toes down, baby. I'm 10 toes down. This is what I'm doing. I've had people give me advice. Yo, you should do this. You should do that. Some of it's good. Some of it's not. Some of it's good, and it just doesn't fit me.
Yeah.
Right? Like I could have made music about, killing people and women and all of this and all of that, but that's not who I am. So I'm gonna stay true to who it is that I am, and if I have to make minor adjustments, cool. But I'm not selling my soul. I'm not, no, that's not happening.
Yeah. So let's get into what you do. I know mental clarity is one of your things. So what is mental clarity for myself and everybody that's listening? How do you define mental clarity?
Ooh, I don't know if I have a solid definition, but I'll give you the experience.
Okay.
Mental clarity, the ability to see your mind operating the way it operates, right? The ability to see your mind giving you the options of things to say in a conversation, or which action should you take. It happens really fast, right? Someone says something to you, you get triggered, you respond in a way that's unbecoming of you. Mental clarity is when they say something and before you respond, you see the response coming, right? Ooh, that's not going to be a good one. So maybe you go to the physical part of it and you say, you know what, let me take a deep breath. And then you address that person because you had the mental clarity to see that what was about to come out was not going to lead you to the outcome that you truly desire. So I help people and I coach people how to create what I call the tactical pause in their responses, whether that's in conversation, whether that's in a particular action, or whatever the case may be. If you can be still, even for a brief moment, you increase your chances of responding or acting in a way that pushes you towards a better outcome. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So your mind is no different than your heart. Your heart pumps blood. My heart's pumping blood right now, and it's, I can stop it, but like you can't stop it. It's the natural order of things. Your mind is the same way. It's gonna have thoughts. It's gonna judge people. It's gonna judge things. It's gonna call people names and all of this and all of that. Mental clarity. When you have good mental clarity, you can see those things, but not get attached to them. Right. So the tail isn't wagging the dog. The dog is wagging the tail. And you pick and choose which thoughts and actions you want to go with.
So what tips do you give people to do that? Because it's normal to instantly respond when someone does something to us, they say something to us. It's just a natural thing. So what are some tips people can apply to be better with, making sure the outcome is what they desire?
So one of the things you could do is say to yourself, I'm going to spend a whole day and I'm not going to talk, right? I'm only going to respond to the things that I have to respond to. And in that day or 2 days or whatever amount of time you feel you need, you are going to observe your mind, right? And what you're going to find is that your mind is either stuck in the past or running forward to the future. It's taking you down rabbit holes of what happened when you were a kid, or something that your wife is going to be mad about later on, and all of those things, right? What you do is when those moments come and you realize, oh, I'm down a rabbit hole, you stop. You look at reality that is in front of you. What are you actually seeing? Are you look like your desk is here, but can you actually see it? Look at it. Take a deep breath. You come back to what Eckhart Tolle calls the now. Really good book, The Power of Now. And then it's just a matter of realizing that your mind has been dragging you. Or you practice that day in and day out, one moment to the next, you'll realize that your mind is an entity and you are a separate entity per se in the mental experience, meaning I can see and hear. Like if I told you to say a color in your mind, you can hear that color in your mind, right? Well, if you can hear that color in your mind, you can hear all the other thoughts in your mind too. It's just a matter of you being able to become aware enough to see it, and then you'll begin to see the idiocy of a lot of your thoughts.
Wow.
And
Wow.
you're like, okay, well, that's not smart. This is the example I always give people, right? Um, well, it's true for me. So you driving down the road, somebody cuts you off, and you have a really morbid thought, like, I hope that person runs off the road, or I should go run them off the road. But no, you don't do it. Most people don't. Some people get road rage, but you don't do it. It's the same thing. It's just not as extreme, right? And then you catch yourself. You're like, why would I do that? That's stupid. And then you separate. You say, you know what? It's all good. I'm gonna just keep going on about my way. Everything's still good. I still have all my faculties. Everything's good. And you keep going towards, your positive outcome for the day.
Wow. Wow. So let me ask you this here. So, because I know, like for me, so I have a lot going on in my head most times, so my it's noisy. I'm just gonna say that it's noisy because there's so many thoughts going on. And I think this is pretty much everybody. Our lives are noisy. So how do you tune in to that voice, that voice, like you said, when you can hear that voice or that thought in your head, how can you silence everything else so that you can like really tune to that?
Meditation, right? At one point, man, I would get into the meditation and I would be gone for 3 hours, 2 hours. You know, stop staying up so late, get into bed before you're actually sleepy, lay down, get a sleeping mask if you need to, let it be dark. If you need some relaxing music or rain sounds, put that on. And it's as simple as deep breath in, slow breath out. And you do that until you fall asleep or until, other things start to happen. But and people always say this, I'm not good at meditation because I think too much. Well, that's the first thing that happens when you meditate. You come to the realization that you are constantly thinking. That's what's the first thing that occurs. So now you realize, man, my mind just goes and goes and goes and goes. And I don't have to be emotionally attached to every thought that crosses my mind. So now you've separated yourself, your being, your awareness, the soul, the spirit from the thoughts that it's actually having. So if you can do that, even 5 minutes a day, when you first wake up, before you get out of bed and you run to Starbucks or you take your shower, brush your teeth, or whatever it is that you do when you get out of bed, lay there and watch your mind. Deep breathe, watch your mind, and create that separation from who you are and what your mind is. And the more you do that, day in and day out, you'll begin to practice it even in conversation. And then it just becomes a way of life. So what happens is you will see circumstances, external stimuli occur out in the world. And instead of only watching those external things, you will watch yourself mentally and emotionally respond to those things, which makes it easier for you to decide, how much do I want to allow this thing to affect me? How do I want to respond? What is the best course of action? Now you're living a more intentional life as opposed to being reactive to everything that it is that you see.
And I loved how you said, I don't have to be emotionally attached to every thought. And that is where a lot of us fail. I know, like with me, we get emotionally attached to every thought that goes through our mind. We think that we have to react to it. So, dude, that's really good. So we have a question for you.
Yeah,
So it says, how do you feel when you don't react the way you think you should have?
that's a good question. It depends, right? Let me read it again just to be sure. How do you feel when you don't react the way you think you should have? Um, I forgive myself, assuming I reacted negatively, right? Because it happens. If somebody cuss at me, I might pop off back, right? I catch myself after the fact. I forgive myself for being human, right? I acknowledge that I caught it. It's like you made a mistake. Like playing basketball, you turn the ball over. Hey, I turned the ball over. It's all good. We move on to the next play. If it's somebody that I have, a relationship with and I need to apologize, I'll apologize, and don't carry that burden of guilt, because the fact that I can even realize that I reacted in a way that I shouldn't have tells me that what I'm doing is working. It just didn't work optimally that particular time, because I can't deny all of my emotions. I'm going to react in ways that are, not the best version of myself. Sometimes I see it as an
Okay. We're going to give him a second.
shoot. Did I lose you?
I can hear you, but we can't see you.
What happened?
I don't know. We can hear you like clear as day, but we can't. Okay. So he's going to log off and come back in. So good. So what do you guys think? So in the comments, how do you handle or how do you detach yourself from every thought you have? Do you emotionally detach yourself from thoughts? If so, put it down in the comments. Let's see what you got. There you go, my brother. Can you hear me?
Sorry about that. My dad called, and I got it on do not disturb. I guess he got the secret squirrel juice to get by.
You good, man. You good. So you was talking about how, what you forgiving yourself and that kind of stuff when you don't
Yeah,
respond.
yeah. Forgive yourself. Acknowledge that you made a mistake, that you reacted the way you used to. Right. Forgive yourself for it. If it's necessary, you can, make amends with the other person, or make amends in whatever way you feel you need to. And you say, okay, I'm back to being, better than I was in that particular moment. That moment's gone. There's nothing we can do about it. We make amends and we don't hold on to it. We don't beat ourselves up. We're human. We make mistakes. We're going to make more mistakes in the future. And that's okay. As long as we still focus on being a better version of ourselves in the next moment, then we taking the right steps.
Absolutely. And we got one more question before we move to the next thing.
Yeah.
Question is, how do you stop intrusive thoughts?
You watch them and don't follow them, because what happens is an intrusive thought snowballs into some other really, really big intrusive thought. So if you can relax into your awareness that your mind is having an intrusive thought, then you can just see it and say, okay, I'm not going to entertain it. Yeah, I see you there. I know you're there. It's like peripheral. I got a bunch of stuff in my room here that's peripheral, but I'm focused, right here. So while it's there, it's cool. I don't have to actually turn and look at it. I don't have to put my conscious, focused attention 100% onto it. It's just there. Thanks for the thought. I appreciate you. That's one thing you could do. Another thing you can do is kind of like thought replacement, which is, instead of allowing the negative or intrusive thought to dominate your mind, you intentionally have another thought, right? So it's times I wake up and I feel terrible. And the first thought is, gosh, I feel terrible. Nope. I feel great. I feel super great. I feel super duper great. I feel so great. I'm about to walk 5 miles, even though I don't feel like walking 5 miles. Right. And it's like a fight, but you push through into the point where the intrusive thought becomes, minuscule in comparison to what you've poured into yourself.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I love push through because like you said, thoughts are gonna come. And it's all about how you respond to them, man. So let's go to your next thing here. So emotional intelligence and effective communication. Let's talk about
Oh man,
that.
emotional intelligence, right? The ability to see, hear, and understand your emotions, what they mean, where they come from, and what to do about it, right? The more emotionally intelligent you become, the better your experiences of life will be, right? And a lot of emotional intelligence is about not fighting the emotions, but it's about allowing them to exist in the space that they need to exist. So let's take something simple like sadness. Nobody really wants to be sad, right? Like nobody wakes up and is like, boy, I sure hope it's a sad day today, right? But something happens and it makes you sad. What a lot of people do is they want to fight with the sadness. They want to avoid the sadness. They just want to get away from it. Um, what's good for some people, not all, because some people can slip into depression, but it's to allow the sadness to work itself through. That means if you need to cry, cry. If you need to journal, journal. If you need to phone a friend, phone a friend. If you need to go sit by the water, go sit by the water. If you need to go for a walk, go for a walk. If you need to drink some water, drink some water. But instead of fighting with sadness, allow sadness to have its space, because I promise you, it's gonna work itself out. Mm-hmm. Right? I got a reel where I talk about emotional poop. Right? It's like you eat a bunch of food. Imagine if you didn't allow that food to digest itself. It's the same way with emotions. You have to process emotions, right? It's okay to say, I feel sad because these things happened, right? Write it all out. I'm big on journaling. Write it all out. Be honest with yourself. You can lie to the world if you want to. Don't lie to yourself. Be real with yourself, right? And then start thinking about ways you can transmute that sadness into happiness, right? I'm sad because this happened, but it does give me an opportunity to do this other thing that I always wanted to do, or to overcome this thing. And so it can be empowering. So now you've transmuted it, the alchemist, from something that you didn't particularly want to experience into something that you want to experience.
Yeah, yeah. And see, I'm one of those people that like I deal with situations when they come. Some people say that's to my detriment, but I sit in it and I process it, because once I process it and I move on from it, I can be done with it. I can
Right.
forgive. I
Right.
can do all of that because I got it out of me, But a lot of people, sometimes they give me a hard time about that, but it works for me because I don't want to hold anger and resentment towards people. I want to be able to deal with it, forgive you, forgive me, and move on. Let's be happy about that.
Yeah, move on and get on with life. See, here's the thing. I believe that we are all here to learn certain lessons for our spiritual growth. And the more you avoid your lessons, the more difficult it's going to be later on to overcome those lessons. So if you learn it as a 5-year-old, then you're going to be good. But if you're learning it at 45, it's going to be more difficult because you're already programmed to respond to this thing through a lens of 45 years of responding to it, even though it may not be working for you. Right? So when anger comes, anger is a circumstance that makes you angry is a gift, because it's teaching you how to transcend anger. You see, happiness, sadness, all of these emotions, right? They're all transient. None of them are going to stay in this space forever. When you can be at peace and experience the spectrum of emotions, that's when you know you've attained a level of awareness and emotional intelligence that a lot of other people haven't, because you see them get angry and react angrily. You can become angry and still respond in a way that is progressive and productive towards whatever your outcome truly is, because you see the anger, you feel it, you say, oh, my heart rate going up, my skin's starting to get warm, oh, I'm mad, I'm angry. What's my process? Do I journal? Do I deep breathe? Do I go for a walk? Do I walk away? Do I call my wife? Do I call my mom? What do I do? But as long as you have a process to work through, then your life will be a lot better, because you're not stuck talking about the same thing. Man, you know what dude said to me the other day, blah, blah, and you talking about it for the next 4 days. No, why?
Yeah. But the funny thing about that is that a lot of times we don't think we have time to process it. We don't think we have time to process why we are feeling the way we're feeling. We just either want to move on from it, find something to distract us from feeling it. So for those people who believe they don't have time to sit down and journal and write it out, what do you suggest for them?
I would say we all spend a lot of time doing stuff that's just wasteful. We scroll social media, we watch, videos, we run our mouths about things that don't have anything to do with nothing. If you got an iPhone or whatever kind of phone you got, go to your notepad the next time you're experiencing a negative emotion. And you can do it with happy emotions too. That way you get into the process of doing it and write it out. Why I'm happy today because I got a raise. This raise is great. It's going to help me be able to pay these bills and I can put more money in my 401k. And this is great and life's going to be good. Or I'm sad because, my dog broke his leg and now I got to carry him around the house. And I teach my clients, whatever extreme you need to go to in your journal, go to that extreme because that version of you exists and it's asking for attention. You have to give it attention, or if not, it's going to haunt you. But if you bring it closer and see that it's really a friend that's teaching you something, showing you something, then you don't have to run from it anymore. You can embrace it when it comes, acknowledge it, label the emotion, and process it.
Wow, wow. So let's go ahead. That's amazing. So let's go ahead and move to effective communication, because a lot of us, we think we doing a great job at communicating, but we kind of like suck at it. But so let's talk about that.
Well, most of us suck at communication. And I'll tell you why. Most of us are really good at talking, right? We're good at talking. Effective communication is so much more than talking. And most effective communication doesn't involve talking. Most of it involves listening, right? Actually listening to what this person is saying, whether you agree or disagree, and you're not waiting with a pre-ready, pre-made thought to respond. You're just listening to what it is they say. You listen to understand, and then you respond, right? Body language is another big one. Facial expressions, which is that's like my kryptonite. You say something stupid to me, I might not tell you that it was stupid. My face gonna tell you that it was stupid.
Bruh, your face be
Like,
killing, man. Oh my God, it be killing. Oh, it be
you know,
killing, boy. I be cracking up, dude.
so and that's something that I'm working on, right? Which is the ability to maintain my bearings when someone says something, and in my mind, I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, right? But I am good at, considering that this person's perspective comes from their experiences, and these are experiences that I haven't had. So I can validate the way they feel about it. We can argue statistics, right? Or facts or whatever it is, but I can't tell you how to feel, right? You feel how you feel. So the way you feel about something is valid. Now, whether or not I would feel that way, that's not the question. I'm not the one feeling it.
Yeah.
You feeling it, right? So I can't tell you to not have an emotion. Have your emotion. You know what I'm saying? And effective communication is about being, present, validation, not trying to necessarily change the other person's mind, but to put yourself in their shoes. If this had happened to me, you know what? I'd probably be angry too. Right? Transparency, which is like, there's such a lack of transparency about the way we feel in relationships. It's rare you hear, especially guys, we don't typically say, I feel. We say, I think, right? We are more logic driven beings. But the idea is for you to be able to balance between the both of them. I think this, and that makes me feel this way. And the more a man is able to get in contact with his feelings, the easier it is for him to communicate with a woman or just a masculine person, right? The more someone who's dominant in the masculine, the more they begin to journal, deep breathe, and do all the things we've talked about, they'll find that their communications with other people are a lot more productive and soft, as opposed to angry going back and forth. It's like, oh, I hear you. That makes sense to me. I don't see it that way. My experiences are different, but I can absolutely see why you would vote for this person or vote for that person based on your experiences. That doesn't make you a bad person. That makes you a different person with a different past and different experience and different traumas. And I respect the fact that you came to that conclusion because that's what makes sense for you. Ask questions. Why do you think that? Why does that make sense to you? I don't understand. Can you help me understand? I think a lot of times when we communicate with people, what we want to do is we want to win the argument, right? We want to win. So I want to prove to you that my way of thinking is better than your way of thinking. No, 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 no. I'm not trying to convince you that my way of thinking is better than your way of thinking. I'm trying to convince you I'm trying to convince you to help me understand your perspective. And then once I'm done understanding your perspective, I'd be grateful if you did me the same honor. So then we could know where we stand.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, do you think when people are asking, like, well, why do you feel that way? Do you think that, like, adds fuel to the fire sometimes, because people then feel like they're being challenged? Is there a better way to say it than why?
I mean,
Maybe.
sometimes, so you have to know who you're talking to, right? It depends on the person. It depends on y'all's relationship and all of those things. And sometimes you have to preface your comments or you preface your question. Hey, listen, look, I say all the time, I'm not giving you any pushback. I genuinely want to understand why you feel the way you feel, because I've had a similar situation and I didn't feel that way. So I'm trying to get an understanding of how you got to that particular emotion and I didn't, right? And then you may help them compartmentalize an event that happened one by one. And then you may be able to see like, that's the difference. He didn't have his father. I had mine. That's why that triggered him. It makes sense to me now. I can validate you. You know what? It makes sense to me now. I can see why you feel the way you feel. Wow. My experience was a little different. And that's where we kind of part ways, but we can understand why your exit was exit 15 and mine was 25.
Yeah. And did y'all hear that, people? He changed the words up. He thought how he said it, and opposed to saying why, he said, can you help me understand? Or I've had that same experience. He empathized with them, and he had transparency, like you said, how that transparency, that was like really, really good. Because I know when I'm in heated discussions and sometimes I'm really trying to understand, but I always say the go-to words, well, why are you doing that, or why are you saying that? And then it always seemed like, hey, you challenging me. So that's why I asked that question.
Yeah, you can almost always put it back on yourself and say, I don't think I'm doing a good job of understanding what it is that you're saying, right? I it's not registering to me. And is there another analogy you can come up with? Would it be, who are you talking to? Are they a sports fan? Are they into clothes? Are they into makeup? What analogy can you give me to help me understand this? What common ground can we find so that I can, at bare minimum, understand why you feel the way you feel?
Well, we got some people out there. It's like, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say I don't understand what I understand.
Hey, I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't want to go down the rabbit hole, it's cool. Like, I'm not. This is your moment, right? When it's my moment, I'm gonna do everything I can because I have a need to be understood. So I'm gonna give you every analogy. I'll be like, hold on, let me think of another one for you. Or what you like? Or you like this? Oh, okay. I got one for you. Because I want to be understood. I want to be valued. You want to validate me and my emotions today.
So when the next time y'all in the argument, y'all remember this conversation here. Put it back on you. Put it back on you. When you see yourself going down the rabbit hole and you see it's not working, just put it back on you a little bit. It's not that you're surrendering to them, but just put it back on yourself a little bit.
It's graceful. It's really about grace. It's like, let's have a dance. And sometimes I may have to submit to you, and other times you may have to submit to me. But like I said, you're not having the conversation to win. The win is in the understanding. When you have okay, now it makes sense. Now we've both won. As opposed to, I told you I was smarter than you. Like, okay, what does that mean? Why bother? Who cares?
Yeah.
Can we get on the same page? That's what a win is to me. And and if your point is more valid than mine, I'm gonna be like, you know what? You got a valid point. I appreciate you enlightening me to a whole nother perspective that I had never even thought of. So now I'm smarter because of you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And I love that win. Your win is, can we get on the same page? Not you right, I'm wrong, I'm right, you wrong. Let's just get on the same page. That is a win. Wow, I
Hey,
love that, man. I,
yeah.
that's pretty dope. So, okay, let's go on. Take your power back. Let's talk
Oh,
about
man.
that.
Take your power back. I'll be honest, I don't even remember the first time I said take your power back, right? But the one thing I know about life is that you are always going to experience life as you. Whoever you are right now, that's the filter through which you're going to experience this life. You're not going to be anybody else. You're stuck with you until this thing's over. So, the things that you can't change, you're going to have to accept them. The sky's blue. My favorite color is orange. I wish it was orange all the time, but it's not. It's orange in the evening sometimes. So I get a little bit of orange. You're going to have to accept that things aren't always the way you want them to be. Through accepting that things aren't always going to be what you want them to be, you take your power back, right? Because now you don't have to be frustrated. So you take your power back from frustration, right? If someone says something to you and it triggers you, you can take your power back from that trigger, right? Maybe what they said is true. Maybe there's some truth to it. Or maybe they just attacked the core belief. Okay, cool. The trigger came. It lets me know that that's still a trigger for me and I still have work to do. So instead of flying off the handle, right, and losing your power to what this other person said, you take your power back. You understand? Um, it's not something that you're not gonna take your power back one time and keep it. You're going to always lose your power, right? Because there's always going to be something that irritates you. There's always going to be something that frustrates you. There's always going to be an unexpected expense. A bill shows up, the water bill. Who the water bill shows up? You're like, Jesus Christ, I forgot about this one, right? But you didn't plan for it. Okay, what are the steps we can take to solve this problem so that I no longer have to experience this intrusive thought, right? Or this negative emotion that I'm experiencing, and I could take my power back from the situation. If I can't change it, this is what I tell my therapist all the time. And it's not a hill I'm willing to die on, but I don't believe in problems. I just don't really believe in problems. Now, of course, in my everyday language, I'll be like, oh man, I got a problem. But ideologically, problems don't really exist, right? Because either you have a situation that you label a problem that you can't do anything about. Well, you can't do anything about it, so it's not a problem. It's just reality to be accepted for what it is. It's raining. That's not a problem. It's just raining. Get an umbrella or get wet, right? Or stay in the house. Those are your options, right? Or if something is a problem and you have a solution, then you don't have a problem. What you have is reality that you have the ability to change or affect to a degree. You just got to take the necessary steps to do so. So if there's a solution, that bare minimum, you can solve the problem. If there is no solution, you can't do anything about it anyway.
Yeah.
Solving the problem is taking your power back. Boundaries, right? Someone says something to you disrespectful and you want to punch them in the face, but you never told them, listen, I won't be spoken to in that way. So moving forward, you're going to talk to me with respect and grace, or we just won't communicate. You took your power back from your anger. You took your power back from that person disrespecting you, right? And you took your power back from going to jail because if you punch him in the mouth, you might have to, go see the judge. So you take your power back. It's always about you. Your whole life, you are the main character. The way I see it is like this. When God said, let there be light, this whole thing came into existence for you to have the experience you're having right now, whether you like it or not. So it behooves you to find out where your power lies and where it doesn't. And it doesn't lie in changing other people. It lies in changing yourself. I always talk about outcomes. What outcome are you seeking to attain? I talk to people all the time, especially guys who, I talk to women too who are hard-headed, but I talk to guys too who want to communicate with women like they're men. And they complain about the way in which women communicate with them. I'm like, well, if you talk to her like a man, she's going to respond to you like a man. right? But if you communicate, if you're intelligent, emotionally intelligent enough to know I want this particular outcome, then maybe it's not about trying to change her. Maybe it's about improving me. And through improving yourself, she'll respond differently. It happens like 100% of the time.
Yeah.
You soften your stance, or you soften your delivery. You speak to somebody with grace. Yeah, we disagree, but I'm not going to call you stupid because you think what you think. I just want to understand. So you take your power back from contentious conversations. So that's what it is.
Yeah, because most of us have lost our power to external things.
Absolutely.
People, situations, jobs, other things that are not even in our control, things that we can't change. That's where our power lies because our thoughts are still there. We're giving all of our energy there. And people don't realize, like you said, if you work here, that changes everything. Take your power back, change your focus, center yourself, and then, yeah, you can take your power back. But most of us, our power is in somebody else's house because we still pissed at something that happened at their house 3 months ago. That's where your
3 months.
power at.
And when our friend call or our auntie call, we're going to talk about it. Girl, let me tell you what happened 3 months ago. Look, nobody cares. She ain't thinking about it. She doesn't care. She's gone on with her life. She's sitting down somewhere, Ruth Chris, Applebee's somewhere, eating, drinking strawberry lemonade, tequilas, whatever it is people do. She ain't thinking about you. I promise you. She not. Or he not. Whoever, right? Let go of the anger. It's okay, right? Take your power back. It's cool. Recenter yourself, right? Be centered. Deep breathe. Be happy. You can choose to be happy. It might not work all the time, but you choosing to be mad. People go through so much self-sabotage and punishment of themselves because somebody else did something. That's like if my wife came in here right now and said something mad to me. So I say, well, I ain't gonna eat tonight because I'm mad at her. What? Are you serious? So I'm gonna starve to death because my wife said something. Oh no, I'm about to go get something to eat. Look, put your leg on my leg so we can eat and go to sleep.
That is what's up. And people do not realize that, though. They do not realize you can't, like, you've given your power to so many people who don't deserve it. Just like focus, take back the control and change the stuff you can, the stuff you can't. Let it just work itself out because it's gonna work itself out. So,
Oh, it's gonna work itself out. It's just a matter of if I look at it like this, you know, God, the universe, Allah, whatever, whoever it is you pray to, that thing is going to drag you kicking and screaming through certain experiences. It's gonna happen. Nobody gets out unscathed. You'd be better off going with the flow. The more you resist, the more it persists.
I love that. The more you resist, the more it persists. I love that. Love that.
Yeah,
Love that. Love
gonna be there. Go with it.
that. Okay.
Take
Nice.
the power back.
Okay, so we about to go on to something else because man, it's so many things I want to talk about tonight with you. You're just a man of many things. So let's talk about the Mars mindset.
Oh man, the Mars mindset. So to go back in September of 2021, I believe. Yeah, October of 2021, I started my podcast. It was What's Up With You. And basically, I would sit down for an hour once a week and interview people, kind of like we're doing now, about whatever it is that they're into. I interviewed a bunch of people. And then that kind of transitioned into a daily show on Instagram Live with me and another guy. And we talked about relationships because that's just a hot topic right now. So it's, we thought about different names. Oh, you know what? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, the Mars mindset. And so him and I, we rocked together for a few months before he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. And I just say, hey, well, look, big dog, I'm not a quitter. So I like this. I enjoy this. People are receptive to me. So I'm just going to keep going. So now, every day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 5:45, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I go live on Instagram and we discuss all different types of topics. A lot of it's focused around relationships, you know, but my goal for the show really is to be the example and to teach people how to effectively communicate, right? How to actually listen to what someone is saying, how to consider that their perspective is valid, or some aspect of their perspective is valid. Like I said, it's all my show is all about finding common ground. A lot of times I have 2 or 3 people arguing 2 or 3 points, and I'm like, y'all do realize y'all agree on like 99% of this thing. And I'm gonna bullet point out where y'all agree, this one little piece where y'all disagree. And then you can do with that information whatever it is you want to do with it, you can do with it. But you know, whatever works for you. But I hate when I go into a live or something like that, and that just sounds like a bunch of people just screaming. Like I can't hear. My ears don't work that way. You know how women can all sit around, it's 10 of them, and they be like, and then all on cue, they be like, yeah. My ears don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? My ears be like, I don't hear nothing. I just hear voices, you know. So my show is really just about giving people the opportunity to talk about their experiences. It's like a big group therapy session, and it gives people an opportunity to learn how to process their emotions, learn how to effectively communicate, how to traverse their own minds and their own troubles, and how to deal with other people who may be difficult or standoffish, right? Some people need to learn to laugh again. So a lot of times we laugh. Sometimes every once in a while somebody comes on the show and they cry. And it's all good. I got different people from all different walks of life that come on. Some of them cuss a lot. I kind of let them have a moment.
Yeah.
You might need this. So have your moment. It's all good. It's all good. We just want to talk about it, and we're going to be here for one another.
Yeah, and I mean your branding and your intention is like clear, because originally when I first saw the name of your podcast, I thought it was a play off of your name. You know, the more I thought it was.
So to a degree, it is, because my name is Marchello,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the definitions, if you Google it, it'll say of Mars. I guess meaning from Mars, root Marcus or something like that. It also means warrior, but it fits, right? Because let's say they come out and say, well, you can't use the Mars mindset. Okay, the Marchello mindset. Doesn't matter. We still rolling. We still doing what it is that we do.
Yeah. But when I went and I started looking at your stuff, it was evident men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Because I mean, the conversations and everything, like I listened to several of the videos on your IG page, and it still all flows. It's like you can watch several videos and it's almost like a story, you know, even though they're different topics, they all still flow, life applicable, you know, and everything that was dealing with relationships and so forth. So man, I commend you on that, because it was what I saw, man. It's really, really good.
I appreciate it, man. Like, we just out here trying to do the best we can. I want men and women to be able to understand one another, right? Because I think we talk past each other a lot. I think we have a lot of preconceived notions. We make a lot of generalizations. And I think it's important for people to be able to just really have, you know, fair, open, and honest dialogue about their perspective, and not get berated for having the perspective that you have, right? Like I said, your perspective is valid. I just disagree with it sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm going to play a clip. This is my first time playing a clip on the podcast, Marchello, but I'm going to play a clip. You know what clip it is, because did you see the video I posted from your clip of your podcast?
I don't know.
Okay, bro. This is like funny. I sent it to a couple of, I posted it on TikTok too. They already done started commenting on it. It's like funny. And your face expressions are classic.
Oh, man.
Let me see here. Let me get that up. See if we can see it. Let's see if they can hear it too.
Asking me to be about you, all about you, nothing but you, and only with you for the rest of my life, then that vagina needs to be open 24/7. Or it needs to come with a warranty, meaning I have full access to it 3 weeks out of the month. That 1 week it's not open, your mouth needs to be open. Anytime you tell me no, that's a bill that's not getting paid. You tell me no once, that's your cell phone you're going to pay. You tell me no twice, that's your hair and nails you're going to pay. Tell me no 3 times, you got the mortgage this month. Or I can stay single, hear a no for free.
Okay. All right. So cell phone, what was the second bill? What's the second? No, I know the third one was the mortgage.
It could be heron. It's whatever I pick. You said no whenever you feel like it, so I'll pick whichever bill I feel like.
Okay.
Bruh, your facial expressions were classic. I was dying laughing, dude.
Yeah. Ben Ready. That might have been the first time. I mean, that wasn't Ben Ready. That was my man, really though. That might have been the first time he came on. I was just like, what in the world have I gotten myself into here? I'm like, Jesus Christ, boy. But you know what? Even he doesn't come on the show that much anymore. But he over the course of the next month or two after that episode, he was different. Like he had kind of calmed down more. He can't, he expressed himself more. I think a lot of people just, they have the views they have from their traumas, right? Their experiences. And we just have, a lot of times we generalize things based on our experiences, but our experiences aren't everybody else's experiences. So the facial expressions are going to be there. I was just like, what? No, like, did you say that? Like, even if you thought it, like, what would make you really come on the live and say that? But he was being honest about the
That
way
was
he
his
felt.
truth.
So I gotta respect it.
Yeah. That
Hey.
was just like funny though, man, when I saw it. So, because I was going through your page and everything, I was looking at all the videos and I came across that one. And then I was just like looking at and the two young ladies that were in the middle, they were like dying laughing.
Yep. But that's
But
the truth.
that is good though, man. And it's like I mean, like I said, so I'm encouraging everybody, his podcast is scrolling down. Oh, I forgot to put your podcast on there. Let me see. I may have put it on it. But his podcast on IG is the Mars Mindset, right?
The Mars Mindset. Yeah. The tag is the Mars Mindset. Yeah.
So go follow it. Because he has great contents out there. Follow him on Instagram and TikTok because he has like amazing content. And you guys saw the clip that I posted last night, I think it was, of him talking about indulgence. And man, I got like texts on that because people were really inspired by that. So, dude, you're doing your thing, man. It's amazing.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, the indulgence one, it just popped in my mind. Like, yo, man, life is hard. It has a lot of things that we don't want to do that we have to do. And I think it's easy for responsible people to get caught up in the trap of always doing what has to be done. And I think it's important sometimes to, if you want to eat a big piece of cake, man, you got to eat that big piece of cake. I ain't saying you're going to do it every day, but you have to treat yourself because you're going to have pain. You're going to suffer. There's going to be pain and suffering in this life. And nobody gets out alive. Like, it ends for all of us at some point. So imagine, I always think to myself, like, imagine how you would feel if in the last hour of your life, you sat there and thought about all of the things you wish you had done. Man, that would be so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So it's important to say, yo, I want to do this. I'm going to find a way to do it because when it's over, it's just over. So, indulge if you need to, just a little bit.
Yeah. So tell us, so we know we can go to your website. So tell us about your subscriptions and everything that for everyone that wants to, get on the ship with you and get your services and so forth.
Yeah. So like he has on the screen, it's patreon.com/IamChelsX. I think I have 4 tiers on there right now. One is just $4.99. That's where you can watch the episodes of the Mars Mindset. I film one today. It'll be up there tomorrow. And then I have my life coaching tiers on there, right? So I have a 30-minute tier that's $75 a month. I have once a month tier where we FaceTime, Instagram, whatever video chat you choose. That's $125 a month. And then that's it. No. And then I have the bi-weekly one, which is $220 a month, which saves you money if you want to see me, twice a month. And so some people sign up through the Patreon. Other people just shoot me a DM and we work it out. And I set up my sessions, 1 hour sessions, 30-minute sessions, or whatever the case may be. and we problem solve. So that's what the Patreon is there for. I have my merch store, which is iamchellsxstore.com. Bunch of inspirational merch, like this one, Divinely Unique. I got the Take Your Power Back gear, Inspired to Inspire. I have a villain shirt, which is one of my favorites, with it's like a black shirt with green and purple writing in the essence of the Joker. I like that one a lot because it reminds me that you're never always going to be the hero and you're never always going to be the villain, right? Even, some heroes are villains in people's minds and some villains are heroes in people's minds. And then it also says victim, which I never want you to be a victim, but at some point we'll all be a victim of something. The idea is to never perpetually play the victim. So that's the merch store. And then I have my website, which is iamchellsx.com, that isn't completely built yet. But the goal is to have that completely set up so you can sign up for your life coaching. You can subscribe to the Patreon. You can watch the videos and everything I Am Chell's X. Eventually, I would like to be able to funnel it all into iamchellsx.com. But for right now, you can just go over there and subscribe to the mailing list. I'm going to start doing a newsletter and sending stuff out once a week so that people can,
And where do they subscribe to the mailing list at?
iamchellsx.com.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. And the first person that DM Marchello on IG and tell him just put t-shirt in there, I'm about a t-shirt for you. So I cash app you the money, man. So first person that DMs him at IG, I am Shell SX, your shirt is on me. First person. So
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming on here, man. I got to get you back, dude, because we time went by, man.
Yeah. This was great. I spent a lot of time giving other people the opportunity to speak. So a lot of times I hold back. So for you to invite me on and allow me to, do my spiel, I appreciate you, man. This is great. I like it. I definitely gotta come back.
Yes, sir. Because man, it's like, and again, everybody, please go follow him on every platform. TikTok, if you're on there, he's on there. Instagram, he's on there. He has a website. So do all of that because no lie, this guy is like inspirational. So you'll get his stuff on your timeline every day. I get it every day. I see his stuff. I even go back and watch some of his old videos. So go follow him on there. It's no excuse. If you need some inspiration and you need him to get through the day, this is the guy for you. So go follow him. So, man, I am honored to have met you. This is not the end. Bigger things ahead of us. I'm big on divine connection. So bigger things ahead of us. And thank you for coming on, man.
My man. Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
Just to let y'all know, y'all missed it, but I had a giveaway for my Patreon subscribers, which was when I got to 10,000 followers on Instagram, I gave away $1,000 to one of my Patreon subscribers. So on Friday, this past Friday, we did a giveaway. One of my homegirls, Keisha, actually won $1,000. I already paid her the $1,000. I'm good for my money. We had to spin the wheel multiple times because my wife won on the first spin. We was like, ooh, that doesn't look good. You know what I'm saying? But, when I get to 20,000, we'll do it again. So just more of an incentive to subscribe to the Patreon.
But y'all won't be, well, I guess he'll give somebody in that extra 10,000, but we need y'all to go subscribe tonight. So by the time he hit 20,000, y'all will already be in the fold. So go.
Well, the way I did it was the amount of months that people had been subscribed to the Patreon was the amount of slots they had on the wheel. So if you subscribed, on the Monday before the drawing, then you had a little skinny slot. But if you subscribed back when it first popped off, you had a bigger, piece of the pie. So.
Oh, wow. Wow. I love that. Well, dude, thank you for coming on here tonight. And yeah, man, this has definitely been a blessing for me. I know a lot of people are saying that they really enjoyed it and it's a good conversation. So we definitely got to get you back on here, man.
My man, you know what you got to do, right?
What's that?
Take your power back, baby.
I got it back. I already got it, man. I ain't giving nobody mine. So.
Don't give it to him. Keep your power.
And you watch your facial expressions because you give your power away right there live.
Hey man, I got to do something. You know, I've gotten great with the words and facial expressions. Where I'll be like, oh man.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, everybody, we will see you next Monday, 7 o'clock. Got a guy that's going to be on. His name is Garth. He is a skincare guy. He developed some new skincare products that are supposedly really good. I got some coming. So I'll see and let you guys know. But he'll be here next Monday at 7 o'clock. Thank you guys for logging in. See you next week. Peace.